Good morning to all. As a part of FTP 301X Mentoring Educators in Educational Technology from the team ID 109, today we are going to discuss about the flipped classroom as a part of FTP design. So before we enter into the topic, we have to know some basic concept about what do you mean by traditional classroom and what do you mean by flipped classroom. So first of all, the traditional classroom is the older technique where the instructor will learn some concept and they will deliver that concept in the classroom so that the students will able to understand or trying to understand that concept inside the classroom, and after the end of the classroom the students will assign with certain task or the students will give some task to complete. Either it will be a problem or it will be an exercise where they will do it as an homework and they will submit as an assignment in next class. While doing so, the students will not be able to understand what actually the content the instructor or faculty discussed and how the content will make them to learn out of the box without knowing that depth knowledge. Whereas in flipped classroom, to overcome the traditional classroom problems like the depth knowledge not obtained from these activities, we are replace that with a virtual classroom or online classrooms or flipped classroom. The name only changes but the content will be same. What do you mean by flipped classroom? First of all, the flipped classroom is a blended learning strategy where it is a vice versa of the traditional, because we are going to assign a task and we are going to make the students to do the task inside the classroom but learn the content or learn the basic knowledge about that content outside classroom. That is, the students will do homework as the knowledge practicing and they will do the assignments or they will do the exercise inside the classroom with respect to the instructor and the peer, so that they can able to have an hands-on and they will able to understand the depth knowledge about the concept. So here in this topic we will have some outside classroom strategy and inside classroom strategy. That is, in outside classroom, the faculty who is or the instructor who is going to dictate that content will convert it into a digital or non-digital materials and they will give it to the student so that the students will go through that material. Either that will be a video or PPT or sometime it will be an hard book content material in the home itself or outside the classroom itself. While coming to the classroom, the faculty will assign certain tasks. That task will be a discussion forum or it will be in brainstorming or it will be a quiz activity or some active learning gamifying techniques, whatever it will be, so that the students will eager to learn a lot about the content, as well as the peer activity will make the students to think outside the box for that particular concept. So what is the benefits of the flipped classroom? As a student point of view, they will get the depth knowledge and they can able to apply the topic in the real-time scenario, and also they will relate the topic with respect to their day-to-day life activity. While doing this peer activity, the students will reduce the frustration over the in-class lecturing. And while engaging with this kind of peer activity will make the students to think innovative ideas. And this also make the students to assess self, as well as they can able to share their assessment within their peer to learn a lot about the concept. And from the faculty point of view, the faculty will not merely act as a dictator, instead they will act as a mentor or they will guide the students as an well-wisher or friendly. They can approach the students by using these kinds of inverse techniques, and this will make the students to improve their attitude so that they easily interact with the faculty. So the faculty student interaction is getting developed, because nowadays the current technology will make the students to think out of the box as like flipped classroom activity. So now we are having a reflections part. You take on paper, you just go through that few questions by passing the video so that you will have some idea about the flipped classroom and traditional classroom. While comparing that, from your point of view, you just answer certain questions. So the first question will be, as a student, what was your initial reaction when you understand that the instructor were not going to lecture but have you watch videos? Obviously, as an instructor, the second question is, as an instructor, is there any downside for flipping classroom from the student point of view? The third will be, what is the advantage of student undergone flipped classroom rather than traditional classroom? Okay, I hope you all answered. From my peer learners and from certain students' feedbacks, I obtained certain answers. You just refer it with your answers. So these are all the answers we obtained from the student and some peer feedbacks. So some comparative cases with respect to the traditional classroom activity and flipped classroom activity to make you to understand the concept clearly. You just consider the same classroom with the same content, only the instructor will going to use traditional classroom activity and the another instructor is going to use flipped classroom activity. So what the traditional classroom activity faculty will do is, he is going to collect some data or collect some material for that particular content and they will dictate in the classroom and they will make the students to give some exercise as an homework. While doing so, students will not able to think about the depth knowledge about the topic and the students will not apply these topics in real-time scenario too. So here the student instructor peer and students peer, this interaction will not going to happen. Whereas in flipped classroom, we are preparing a video or PPT and in before the classroom itself, the students will get that material and they will go through that, and while coming to the classroom, we will give certain activities. While doing so, the instructor will act as a guide, mentor or facilitator, and the in-class activity and outside class activity will make the students to get more engaged about the topic and they will understand the depth knowledge. So what are all the opportunities while doing so? The first one, in stage 1, the content approach. Whereas in traditional, while doing with a blackboard teaching, the students will not have any outside class activity. Before coming to the class, they will not have anything. Whereas in flipped classroom, while coming to the class, students will know about that concept and they will have some basic knowledge about that concept, and while doing some review, they will understand that concept within their peer team itself. And second, in stage, review on content learning. During class hours, students watch videos or students will watch the faculty delivering lectures that will make them to bore and in sometimes they will fall asleep. Whereas in flipped classroom, the in-class activity is a team-based learning or individual-based self-assessment learning, so they will more engaged. And some of the in-class activities, like the students will make the homework as an in-class activity in flipped classroom, whereas in traditional they are just copy paste the solved problems from the blackboard. What is the outcome of these two classroom techniques? The students satisfy up to the understand level category in the outcome based education, whereas in flipped classroom students will think out of the box so they can apply this knowledge with respect to the real time scenario, and they may analyze with the current scenario industrial problem and how the solution may be change the industrial environment too. Like that they will think out of the box. So these are all the reference. Up to this we close the session and hope we all understand about the traditional classroom and flipped classroom by having this video chat. And in next video we will come back with some case studies about this flipped classroom technique. Up to that, thank you from team 1Flipped.